Welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a breakdown of Holly Wheeler's bedroom from Stranger Things Season 5. All the imagery and pop culture references we get in this room, many of which hint to the themes of the story in Season 5. This is my first time doing a set breakdown like this, and I was surprised about how many things I found. I split it up into posters and pictures, toys and other miscellaneous items, and then games and books. And also at the end, I thought I'd touch on all the rainbow imagery we see in Holly's room. Okay, starting off with posters and pictures. First of all, by her bed, we get a poster for The American Tale, a 1986 American animated musical comedy drama by Steven Spielberg. It follows the story of a family of Russian mice immigrating to America in search of a better life. The young mouse gets separated from his family and has to learn how to survive in a new, exciting, but dangerous place by himself. At one point, the group takes over an abandoned place to hatch a plan, and there is also a cat, who cats are the villains in this story, disguised as a mouse, and the main character gets trapped in his lair. Obviously, we can see some clear parallels to Holly's story here of getting separated from her family into this new, scary, but interesting place, using an abandoned area to form plans like she does with Max, and a villain disguised as a friend who lures you into his lair, aka Mr. Watson. Above her bed, we also see a frame for US postage stamp poster issued in 1984 for Valentine's Day with the word love 5 times with the V different colour hearts. By her mirror is a Rainbow Bright poster, a cartoon broadcast from 1984 to 1986 about a young girl transported to this dark, colourless land where she makes fantastical friends in order to defeat the King of Shadows and bring back colour into the world, which then becomes Rainbow Land. This villain could parallel here to Vecna and Holly being transported into the Upside Down, the colourless land, and also her befriending Max. Also, the rainbow bedsheets Holly has are also Rainbow Bright themed. Above her desk, we see a Scooby Doo poster, a cartoon that ran for the 80s about a group who solved mysteries together, which draws on the main four and the themes of the show. We also see a picture of some rainbow balloons on this wall, and then an ALF poster, a sitcom running from 1986 to 1990 about an alien who crashes into the garage of a suburban family who had to keep him hidden from the government as he tries to rebuild his spaceship. This is a big callback to season 1 of Stranger Things, where ALF was a big influence for the first season of the show. We can also see some posters which look like achievements awards above Holly's desk. This one which has someone with a rainbow cape, and this one which says Hawkins Elementary School. We also have some sort of colourful picture by her mirror. I wonder if this is some craft like patchwork or something. I can't make out what this poster by her bed is, and I can't tell what the text says, so if anyone recognises it, comment below. Also on her door is a sign that she has made reading Holly with an arrow above, potentially indicating adventure, and words below that say Camp Lake something. Okay, now onto toys and other items. Here we see a Where's Waldo or a Where's Wally doll, depending what you call it from where you are in the world, which is from the book Where's Waldo, where he is hidden and the objective is trying to find him. Tying in, we're here with the themes from trying to find Holly, who becomes lost, and she becomes lost in this very colourful world similar to Where's Wally. We also see lots of soft toys in her room, including several Care Bears, popular soft toys in the 80s. I think this one is the Funshine Bear, maybe this, the Love a Lot Bear. I'm not sure, but we can see lots of others scattered throughout her room, and we can also see this Care Bear poster on her wall. I managed to find this exact poster, and I think it's quite interesting that it says, "Come live where the fun is forever," which in a way is what Vecna is trying to lure Holly into this mindscape. Here we can see a Raggedy Andy doll, which comes from the Raggedy Ann franchise, which had books, shows, and toys. In a similar style, we can see a drawing Holly has done of herself with her name on the side here. Here we can also see drawings of some ballet shoes, as well as what I think is an owl, which has been picked up on some people as imagery associated with Vecna watching and spying on people. So maybe that's something. We also see some drawing supplies on Holly's desk. I think this is Crayola and a pencil shaped lamp. And I wonder if this is a callback to Will, who loves to draw, especially as a young child. We can see lots of lights in Holly's room, obviously for the scene when they start flickering, including this nightlight, which is the first thing she notices, and also the light bright that Holly had in season 4, now with a rainbow and a shooting star on it. We can also see here what I think is a small cassette player on the shelf, as well as some music sheets, and what I think is a violin case indicating Holly's love for music. Now we move on to games and books, and this is where I had the hardest time trying to identify things. There are lots of board games in Holly's room. I've tried to think about any imagery that could connect these games specifically with the themes and the plots of the show, but they also could probably just show Holly's connection with Mike, who would likely introduce her to a lot of these games. Here are all the ones I could identify. Firstly, The Game of Life, a game about rolling dice and making decisions about key moments in your life as you go through the game, released in 1960. Then we have Upwords, which is like Scrabble, but you can put tiles on top of each other to make new words, released in 1982. Perhaps imagery of the different layers being stacked on top of each other in Hawkins with the different dimensions, or maybe to do with the layers of deception with Mr. Watson and the Mindscape, with each layer being removed revealing something new. Then we have Operation, released in 1964, where you have to try and remove objects from the board without touching the borders, which makes a buzzing noise, maybe a reference to the connected hive mind. Next is Risk, a strategic and dice rolling game released in 1959, where the objective is to amass troops and conquer territories or to carry out a secret mission. Similarly to the military presence in Hawkins and all the military talk that is used by the gang as they make their plans and communicate this season. Then we have What's It, a 1987 board game where the objective is to be the first player to reach the winner's circle by solving puzzles and riddles and figuring out secret phrases on cards involving dice timers and a moderator. And I think these cards on Holly's bedside table could also be part of this game, but I'm not sure. Obviously, the name here could be a reference to Mr. Whatsit, a character who is full of secrets and riddles that have to be solved. Then we have Wheel of Fortune, another 1987 game based on the TV show where you solve puzzles and spin the wheel. Again, more references here to solving puzzles. There are lots of other board games in her room, but these are the only ones that I can make out. We also see lots of books in Holly's room, indicating she is a big reader. Here is the obvious A Wrinkle in Time, which is explicitly referenced in the show multiple times, as they parallel Camazotz to the mindscape they're trapped in, the hive mind, and also Mr. Whatsit. We can also see Peter Pan here, which is about children who get taken to this magical land where they never grow up. Perhaps similar to this fantastical mindscape Holly is taken to, where everything seems a little too perfect and children can just have fun and escape the real world. I also want to mention here her reading list that we can see on the wall. I tried so hard to make out what these books were, and I even tried using text recognition software for this. But the only I think I can make out is this one, which I think says Ramona and her father. Lastly, the rainbows. Obviously, a big theme people have noticed in Holly's room is rainbows and there being lots of colourful items. Rainbows can have lots of symbolism. They can be linked to hope, and they are obviously also linked to gay themes. And in Stranger Things, they're also associated with the lab that Elle grew up in. Anyway, I thought it'd be fun to point out all the rainbow themed things in Holly's room, as there is a lot, and I probably didn't even get them all. First of all, her outfit, her bracelets, and her hair ties, all rainbows. Secondly, her wallpaper, her bedding, blanket, several bags in her room, these things which I think are belts on her door. We also have lots of rainbow imagery in the posters and pictures on her wall and in her door sign. Then in the lights and the light bright and some other miscellaneous things. Also, someone in my comments pointed out to me that the flower wallpaper Holly has 7 flowers in it, 7 being a recurring number in Stranger Things, starting in episode 1 when Will rolled the 7. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. I certainly enjoyed making it. Apologies if I have got any of the references wrong here, and feel free to correct me in the comments if I made any mistakes or if you notice anything else. I was born in the early 2000s, so some of these 80s pop culture references I had to do a little googling over to try and get right, so hopefully I got them as accurate as possible. Let me know down below if there's any other sets from Stranger Things Season 5 that you want me to try and break down, and have a great day!